Hello, good evening. This is Kathy Beatty with Divorce Support Anonymous. A little later than usual. Usually I'm about 9 o'clock. Now it's 9:45. The day got away from me and the commitments were necessary to respond to. So here I am, though. I thought, I really do want to jump on just to speak with you for just a few moments and hopefully just give you maybe a little encouragement, a little hope, and some tools and techniques to get through the trauma of divorce, whether you're in the middle of it or at the beginning of it or at the end, or you finish and you're still distressing about it. I met someone this past week who I had worked with, and um, usually I have happy stories, but this person looked a little depressed. And so we were in an atmosphere where I really couldn't talk heart to heart, but I could see in her eyes, or I thought I saw in her eyes, that she was really discouraged. And I can relate. I have a situation that has happened that I thought was resolved and I thought it was understood. My thoughts and my deep, deep feelings on an issue, and then I find that it's not at all. And all of that talking and working seems to have been in vain. So it is discouraging to me, and also to my friend that I met today, or not today, this week, or saw this week. So I want to talk about discouragement a little bit. It happens to all of us, whether we're going through divorce or not. We have those times where we're just down and things aren't coming together like we wish they would. And so it just causes us to really just to become sad, depressed, withdrawn, and not really knowing how we want to respond to the situation. So let's talk about that today. I hope that is not where you're at. I hope that you are progressing through this process and finding yourself the ability to look forward into your future. And I will tell you another little story. Even though I did have meet with someone who was discouraged, I also met with someone who was in my group for a couple of weeks, very, very down, very down. And then he mentioned the last meeting that he had restored some hope and was able to begin to get a glimpse of a future and dreams and goals. And it was really a beautiful, beautiful sight to see. And I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for all of you, because I know that even though you're going to have these bumps and these speed bumps, and you're going to have your discouraging times, you are going to get through this to the other side. I know it because I've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times. And life is, we get discouraged sometimes. So it happens. So I want to just give you just a few ideas. Our next group, my next group, is going to be September 10th, 2024. So if you are interested in that, you are certainly welcome to register. Connect with me. I'll send you a registration form, and we'll get you ready for September. And, it'll be here before we know it, right? Right now it's May. It's beautiful. It feels like spring. But before we know it, summer will be over. Well, talk about being discouraged. I don't want to discourage you. I want to give you hope and tools. So enjoy and embrace these warm days. So while we have them, for sure. So let's talk about when we have those moments of discouragement. What do we do with this? One thing that is very, very important is we are honest with ourselves and we admit how we are feeling. Maybe even we write it down, or we speak it out loud to ourselves, or we find someone who's a really good listener, a therapist, a great friend, someone who is able to hear your heart of where you're at and your true, honest feelings of what is going on with you. And it is okay to say, I'm just really discouraged right now. That's very honest and very real. I'm just very discouraged right now. And then maybe you want to explain what has caused you to be very discouraged. So honesty with ourselves is always, always necessary. The truth is always our friend, always. So for us to be able to express what's happening and don't shove it down, don't deny it. It's happening, it's real. Do yourself a favor. Be good to yourself right now as you go through this very, very difficult stuff. Admit to your true feelings. Number 2 is have compassion on yourself. I know if you've been with me for long, you have heard me say this. Always say it in my group several times, in fact, because we have such a hard time with that for some reason. We think we've got to soldier up and we've got to always be, tough on ourselves and disciplined um, and demanding of ourselves. Well, this is the time to have compassion on yourself. This is a time to be tender with yourself because of what you're going through. Have compassion on yourself when you are discouraged. Admitting you're discouraged and then saying, okay, let's look at this to yourself. Yes, it's okay to talk to yourself. Let's look at this. Let's write it out. How am I really feeling? What's going on with me? What are those honest feelings? And how can I help myself through this? If you're hard on yourself, you're not going to help yourself through it. You're going to make it worse. So having compassion on yourself is really talking to yourself and saying, I have to allow myself a break because I'm going through a trauma right now and it hurts. It hurts terribly. And I feel like the world is crashing down on me. So the last person I need to be my enemy right now is myself. Have compassion on yourself. And then ask yourself the question, what do I need right now? Maybe you just need a really big hug from a dear friend. Maybe you need to sit and just talk with someone and share your heart. Or maybe you just need to be with someone. Perhaps you've been isolating yourself and you haven't allowed yourself time to be with people. What do you need right now? Maybe you need some help in finances. Maybe you need some help in your grieving. Maybe you need some help in making a budget or having a plan or what you'll do this weekend. What do you need right now? And that's part of having the compassion on yourself is ask yourself, okay, what do I need right now? What is that? And then number 4 is lean in hard on God. I don't know where your faith is right now. For many people, this is a time that really draws them into the spiritual realm because they need it so badly, because this is a spiritual struggle, as well as an emotional, as well as a legal, as well as everything else. I want to give you some encouraging verses. But the book of Psalms is a book that really understands where you're at. If you want someone to put into words the discouragement that you're going through, look in Psalms and you will see it in Psalms. But you'll also see some encouragement, such as God is our refuge and strength and ever-present help in trouble. Listen to that. God is our refuge and strength. And it's okay to say, God is my refuge and my strength. He's an ever-present. He's always here. And he's help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Though everything is falling apart, God is ever present and help in our trouble. Don't be anxious about anything. Even this, God, even this. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything with prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your needs, your requests be made known to God. Let God know. Don't be anxious. If you are anxious, take that anxiety into prayers and make it into prayers. For he has said, this is talking of Jesus, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So we can confidently say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? When it's all said and done, God is the final judge, the final say. And though we are discouraged and mountains seem to mount up against us, God is not going anywhere. I love to tell people in my groups, God is not divorcing you. He is an ever-present help in times of trouble. I don't know where you're at. I hope you're not discouraged. I hope you're like my one friend who really is beginning to get a glimpse of hope and goals and dreams once again. But if you're like the other person that I met this week, and you have that sense in your spirit of discouragement, take heart. Take heart in these 4 points. Admit your feelings. Have compassion on yourself. Ask yourself what you need right now. Lean in hard on God. So if you are discouraged, sometimes we just need a walk in the park to clear our head. Sometimes we need a good night's sleep because we haven't been sleeping. Sometimes we need to have a friend. Whatever it is that you need, I pray that you would receive that this week, that you would receive what you need. I know you're discouraged, but don't despair. Hold on, hang on. You're going to get through this day and this time of discouragement, and you are going to step into the next beautiful phase of life after divorce. This is Kathy Beatty with Divorce Support Anonymous, walking with you every step of the way through the trauma and after the trauma of divorce. Have a good evening.